Good morning, and thank you for being here for such an exciting announcement. I want to welcome everyone to your state capitol. It is an honor to have incredible Kentucky musicians and arts professionals with us today. I'm grateful for your commitment to sharing your talent and giving back. As I've stated before, the First Lady and I believe that the arts are transformative. It can open hearts and open minds. It can bring us joy, comfort, and inspiration. And we as Kentuckians have seen the difference that it can make during the challenges of these last several years. From the sidewalk art that brought us smiles in the pandemic, to the Team Kentucky Art Gallery right here at the Capitol, which showcases the talent of our people. It's the impact of Kentuckians like Nan Moore, who served as Male High School's band director for nearly 40 years and just got recognized as one of the winners of the Governor's Award in the Arts. Across this state, artists, musicians, photographers, filmmakers, and other creators are building a better Kentucky. The arts have always played a big role in my family, but I recently found a new appreciation for them as my daughter, Lila, was performing in a play and asked me to play a security guard with one line and a very real fall. And I realize now that people, yes, they do suffer for their art. It gives me great pride that we've joined together today to celebrate you, the talented musicians of the Louisville Orchestra, who have shown such dedication to sharing the arts with Kentuckians across the Commonwealth. You are living out the incredible legacy of the innovative musicians that came before you. The Louisville Orchestra was founded after the historic 1937 flood to bring hope to families in the city after that tragedy. On this tour, they'll be traveling to another area that's experienced extensive flooding, continuing to live that special mission. It was the first orchestra in the country to start its own record label. Now, the Louisville Orchestra is embarking on a new adventure, showing the world the full potential of what an orchestra can be. You aren't just asking people to come to you. You are meeting them where they are, where music can connect to them in their neighborhoods. Team Kentucky is grateful for you. We see that through your music, that you're here for our people. And I want you to know we've made it a priority to be there for you in this industry in return. Following the pandemic, we invested nearly $1.7 million towards recovery for the arts in Kentucky. We drove funding to arts organizations to support jobs, operations, and to boost critical marketing efforts. And we've invested, along with the General Assembly, more than $88 million in the tourism industry, which can be such a large driver for the arts, because Kentucky is a destination for so many different experiences, many of which center around the work of musicians like we have in our rotunda today. I'd like to personally thank you. You do Kentucky proud. You show the type of talent and innovation, creativity that we as Kentuckians have. And just think about the number of people that move to this Commonwealth, hopefully pursuing one of these jobs with the large economic development announcements we are making day after day after day. But they see the Louisville Orchestra, and they see other arts organizations, and they see the type of place they want to live. That is really important for us to realize our potential of never being a flyover state again, but to be the destination, and to take our place in where we should be, a leading economy in this country. Every single one of those has a vibrant arts scene. Thank you again, and it's my honor to introduce the music director of the Louisville Orchestra, who was also named Musical America's 2022 Conductor of the Year, a deserving honor for a great leader. So Teddy, you've done a lot for Louisville and a lot for Kentucky. You've made music more accessible. As a dad, I have to say I really appreciate your commitment to coming up with creative ways to build more opportunities in music education. You're making a difference. You are showing you care, and I'm really proud that we have you right here in the Commonwealth. Thank so much.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you to everyone for having us here today, and to the wonderful legislators that made this announcement possible. This is a really, really big deal for your Louisville Orchestra, because this is an initiative that we've dreamed up for a long time, and now we can finally announce this very special opportunity where the Louisville Orchestra is going to be everywhere in Kentucky. It's not only Louisville's orchestra, it's Kentucky's orchestra. And one of the things that we believe in so deeply is that Kentucky's musical heritage is second to none. It's something that connects us all. And during the pandemic, when we looked out at the world and thought, what is our role as artists? What is our role as musicians, as leaders in a cultural institution, to do right by the people we serve? The people we serve expanded to not just Louisville, but all of Kentucky. And when we asked ourselves, what can we do to serve everyone? What can we do to bring our music to all people here? That's when this idea of using our art, using the orchestra, using the powerful language of music, which everyone in Kentucky believes in and cares about, to bring us all together as Kentuckians. The whole idea is that we will be all throughout every part of Kentucky for the next 2 years and hopefully long, long, long after. These are not just normal concerts that we're going to play. We will be in towns maybe that have never seen an orchestra before. We could be in very, very small places. We could be in places that you're not expecting an orchestra to ever show up. But the point is, when we come to these towns, when we come to these regions, it's not just playing a show and moving on. That's an idea that's been done before. When it comes to innovation and thinking about what music can do in this role of public service for the future, the concept of being a part of the community, building human relationships between us as musicians and the people that live in all these beautiful parts of our great Commonwealth, is really, I think, a way to lay the groundwork for great relationships, great trust, and all kinds of cultural understanding between all of us as Kentuckians. So we might be in Eastern Kentucky, in Western Kentucky, North, South, anywhere, but we'll be in that community for a while. We're not playing one show and moving on. We'll be in the community for multiple days. We're going to visit schools, libraries, community centers, and these concerts are not going to look like your normal concert. It's not just going to be an orchestra playing, and then it's over and you clap. We want these concerts to be something where everybody feels like they have ownership of this. Again, Kentucky is famous for the music that we make, so we've tried to dream up programs that would allow everyone to collaborate together. So if we come to your town, maybe the school music programs or the local church choir might be singing or playing with your Louisville Orchestra, because that form of collaboration, that form of making music together, cements those human relationship bonds, which last a really long time. I believe so deeply that music, and therefore musicians and our institutions like orchestras, have this obligation to do right by our people, to make life better for everybody in our regions and our communities and our neighborhoods. And this tour concept is designed to at least give us the chance to try. And we are so excited about what's going to happen. It's going to be 8 weeks on the road, meeting people, making music with folks. This has not happened anywhere. This is a really, really new concept. And the fact that it's taking place in our state not only does right by the people here, but shows the rest of the country and the world that this is a place where arts innovation, big picture thinking, and creativity are paramount. And that's the kind of reputation that the state deserves. That's the kind of reputation that our orchestra deserves. And as you've heard, it's also the reputation that the orchestra has built since its founding in 1937. On top of that, there's one more thing that I need to announce. We joke that this is one of the worst kept secrets in Louisville and maybe in Kentucky. But as part of our touring initiative, as part of our desire as musicians to be in every single part of Kentucky, there's one place that we feel needs a special kind of musical celebration. It's one of the greatest natural wonders of the world. It's one of the most beautiful places that I've ever seen, and I'm talking about Mammoth Cave National Park. We are going to be performing in Mammoth Cave, literally inside the cave, a brand new piece that I have just more or less finished writing. It was a harrowing 2 months of writing this piece, but it is done. And we are taking your Louisville Orchestra, incredible singers from the Louisville Chamber Choir, and one musician you may have heard of before, Yo-Yo Ma, to Mammoth Cave. He will be our soloist as a cellist and a great figure helping lead this event. Yo-Yo has been all over the country focused on our national parks, our great natural wonders, and trying to help bring people closer to these beautiful places through music. And he will be in Louisville for a residency that then culminates in this world premiere performance inside Mammoth Cave, April 29. April 29. People say once in a lifetime a lot, and usually it's not once in a lifetime. This is once in a lifetime. There's no going back there. There's no second date with Yo-Yo Ma. This is really, really special, and we are so excited about all of this. We are celebrating the great Commonwealth. And I'm sure you have a lot of press conferences here. We wanted to do something a little different as we are musicians. We figured a little music would be in order. And I'm so delighted because we have an international star with us who is from Kentucky, born and raised in Richmond, Kentucky, one of now the greatest living violinists, Tessa Lark, who will be the soloist with us on our very first full tour week, which is going to be in May, focused on Appalachia. So she's going to be our soloist with the orchestra, and it just happened to be that she's able to join us this morning. So she's going to play a little bit, then I'm going to join in for a song that, if you don't know, we need to talk. But everybody, please welcome my dear friend, incredible musician, Tessa Lark.
You know what? Please sing along.
my great pleasure to introduce the Chief Executive of the Louisville Orchestra, Graham Parker.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Governor, thank you, President Stivers. Thank you to so many distinguished guests. This is an extraordinary announcement, the In Harmony, the Commonwealth Tour of the Louisville Orchestra. As Teddy and the governor mentioned, this is about the people of Kentucky. Despite my accent, you might guess I'm not from these parts, but I have really fallen in love with this Commonwealth and the city of Louisville. And it's so easy to, because when you meet folks from all around the Commonwealth, it's the stories, it's the people, it's the music, it's the place that just inspires you to realize there's so much history here, so much heritage, so much to be shared, so much to be enjoyed. And this tour is all about exactly that, bringing music as the ultimate language that everyone understands, that can inspire and bring communities together. Obviously, this tour over 2 years, 8 weeks, all across the Commonwealth, was possible truly through the legislature here in Frankfurt. This would simply not be possible without that leadership and that generosity. When Teddy and I first came down here a number of times to meet with leadership, as Speaker Osborne, President Stivers, Senator Thayer, Senator Rocky Adams, and many, many others, the meetings were all different. Speaker Osborne, through a family connection, knows the orchestra well, but he still wanted to understand exactly how this will benefit the people of Kentucky. The funniest meeting was with Senator Thayer, who we walked in, and I think he'd been briefed, but it was kind of like, why are you here? And we started chatting, and within about a minute, he pulls his iPad out and starts typing, and Teddy and I kind of looked at each other and thought, maybe we've lost him. He's kind of now busy with legislative work. But in fact, what he was doing was texting the band director in Georgetown, Kentucky, and telling him that I'm sitting here with Teddy Abrams, can you believe it? And then it was selfies, and then he sat down and he said, okay, seriously, how can I help? And we got discussing how the budget bill could work, et cetera. And then after Senator Rocky Adams offered to sponsor the bill, here we are. So after all that process, I want to thank the legislative leadership for the appropriation of $4.3 million that allowed this to be possible. Thank you. So we're excited to get started. As Teddy said, we begin in May, and then July, September, and February and March of 2024 ends up, luckily, back here in Frankfurt. We will be here, hopefully playing in this rotunda for many, many more of you. And as Teddy also mentioned, this whole endeavor starts off in truly one of the most magical places I got to discover in the last year, which is Mammoth Caves. This partnership with the National Park Service, with Superintendent Barclay Trimble and his whole team has just been remarkable. And it's really an honor for me to introduce, and he can explain more about the project. Please welcome the Superintendent of Mammoth Caves, Barclay Trimble.
Thank you, Graham. Good morning. For those of you that Graham announced, I'm Barclay Trimble, the Superintendent at Mammoth Cave National Park. And I guess we're here today to really talk about music, and that is an important part of Mammoth Cave's modern history, with classical musicians, choirs, and artists composing and often performing their masterpieces in the cave for over 200 years. So for anyone who has ventured into Mammoth Cave, you can't help but notice how a single tune will carry through the vast passages. Areas in the cave provide a listening experience similar to what you all would experience in a major concert hall. So in 2021, late in that year, I received an email from Teddy Abrams. And knowing his history, his past collaborations, I think it's an understatement to say I was very intrigued when I received that email. And so over the past year, we have been working collaboratively in a way to help connect culture, music, and our lands. And so when the conversation began with the Louisville Orchestra, and we came up with the ways that we could partner together to come up with an extraordinary event that will be accessible to the general public. And so Teddy and the Louisville Orchestra team have immersed themselves into the history, the culture, the geologic history, and literally the cave itself. And for those of you that don't know Teddy, I can say that I know Teddy has been on every tour that we offer in the cave, and I'll say that at least once. Just gonna leave it at that. So, but it really talks to his experience, to wanting to come in and get that true feeling for what the cave is, how we can express that in a musical story. And so the team also met with our cave guides and wanted to take in not just the natural element, but the cultural element. And so they've had long conversations to talk about the deep personal connections that some of our staff and their families still hold with the cave, and some of those connections amongst the communities and the surrounding cities that border Mammoth Cave National Park. So all of these connections, these sights, these sounds, and these experiences of what have gone on, and I think Teddy just mentioned it there, but Teddy has written a brand new piece that will talk about Mammoth Cave in a musical story. And so our two teams have been working together over the past year to coordinate this musical event, which is now being unveiled and moving forward. So I am pleased and very honored that Mammoth Cave National Park is to host members of the Louisville Orchestra, the Louisville Chamber Choir, inside Mammoth Cave at Ravenesque Hall. And for those of you that don't know, Ravenesque Hall is 165 feet underground. So it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that Teddy referenced when he was up there. And so we're really looking forward to bringing all of this to what is a state wonder and a national wonder. Mammoth Cave is a national icon. And so with their very special guest, world-renowned cellist Yo-Yo Ma, this is an extraordinary additional event to this musical event. And we know that Teddy, Yo-Yo, and the members of the orchestra and the choir will provide another amazing experience in the musical history that is 200 years in the making at Mammoth Cave. And so on behalf of the entire team at Mammoth Cave National Park, I want to express our thanks to Teddy, to Graham, for the valuable partnership and lasting partnership that we've been able to develop over the last year. So thank you for that. So with that, I will close and just say we are looking forward to seeing every one of you in late April at Mammoth Cave National Park.
Thank you, Barclay. As I mentioned before, there were so many important leaders in the legislature that made this appropriation possible, but we're really honored that one of those leaders, President Stivers, is with us today, and I invite you to make some remarks. Thank you.
Actually, I do appreciate being invited, but I have a request. After hearing what's going on, do you think we could get some tickets? Not that we'll take your $4.3 million back or anything like that, but that would really be a neat place to go and watch. But just asking, first time anybody thought I was really funny, No, truly, I want to say this. I'm not sure where Teddy's gone to, but I want to talk a little bit about the process. We have a 800 and some page budget. And throughout this, how the process works, and we get down to the last few weeks, and we're sitting there literally with stacks. Suzanne Miles, who is the caucus chair in the House, we know this, we're getting input from all over, and you're thinking about over a 2-year period that we'll appropriate as the General Assembly over $30 billion, which is a mixture of state funds and federal funds and internally generated funds. So out of all that, all the discussions that you can think about on appropriating $30 billion, David and Suzanne and members of the House look over and said, what about this Louisville Orchestra request? So out of all that, then we start talking about it, thinking about it, and there was an agreement that because of the work that was done by this group, led by Teddy, because you were the one that met with me and sat in my office, and I know they went to other offices. And I think many people are probably surprised at the reception you received from Damon Thayer. You all can tell Damon I said that. But it is, the work that was done by this group and the belief in the product and in music and what it can do that really sealed the deal. That for all the things that we consider, this is, even though maybe only 1 or 2 lines in a big document, was important to us enough based on the work you all did to fund this. Why do we believe this? It's because a lot of our backgrounds and upbringings. And, it may be somewhat odd from a little boy that came from Clay County who had a mother that was raised just outside of Boston, who listened to the Boston Pops, who talked about, when I go home, I actually do listen to Rhapsody in Blue and Gershwin's rendition, Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. And I think, Teddy, you and I talked about the Moldau and how the cadence of the river and how a German river influenced my life and listening to that. But this is all our different backgrounds, no matter what it is and what type of genre it is, that music is a universal language. And that, along with the work this group did, is why this comes to fruition today with this announcement. So to my colleagues in the House and to the people who work this on behalf of the Louisville Orchestra, there can't be enough said for the way this process worked out and what will be delivered to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So thank you all.
Thank you, President Stivers. As President Stivers mentioned, this was a bicameral effort, completely cooperative, and it's really an honor for me to welcome now to speak to you all the House Majority Caucus Chair, Suzanne Miles.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you all today on behalf of Speaker Osborne and the Majority Caucus and all the members of the House of Representatives. Like President Stivers said, this is a process, and we appreciate so much involvement whenever they come and present projects and things like that. But this has a history, over 80 years, that the Louisville Orchestra has created an environment for people to learn and things like that through our Commonwealth and outside of our Commonwealth, for that matter, for people to come into our state to be able to hear the wonderful things that take place. But more than anything, whenever you travel throughout our Commonwealth and our Parks Department, we cannot say enough of this opportunity. Is such an unusual situation that it is very intriguing, but also the end result of this, the quality of life that the two groups that are bringing together and all across the Commonwealth that you all plan to do, but especially in our parks. The quality of life, we appreciate it so much, and that's what we do every single day, that we try to contribute to the items that we do as far as the safety, things like that. But at the end of the day, the quality of life moving forward makes people want to be here in our state. And also when they go outside of our state and share their talents internationally in the world, that they always look forward to coming home. So thank you all so much for this opportunity. We look forward to seeing it. And this specific item is not too far from my home. So I'm looking forward to buying my own ticket to attend this event, President Stivers, because that's what we do. So on behalf of Speaker Osborne and all of the ones that have contributed, we are so appreciative to be partners with you all in this, and thank you for what you all do and sharing your gift with us. Thank you.
So thank you. Well, that concludes our program. The governor had to step away, but I wonder if I can just invite Teddy back up one last time, just to make perhaps some concluding remarks or thoughts before we say thank you. Any final thoughts?
Well, I think everything's been said so beautifully. Thank you to everybody that made this possible, that came today, that spoke. You can see we are very, very excited. It's just so incredible to have an opportunity like this, not only to make music for everybody in our wonderful Commonwealth, but also to grow and expand ourselves. This is as much about everybody in Kentucky as it is about the orchestra itself getting an opportunity to do something that makes us grow as human beings and as musicians. So really, I just can't wait to meet everybody in our wonderful state and be out in every single part of Kentucky. This is very, very special. So thank you, and thank you to the General Assembly for making this possible because it was visionary. Thank you to the National Park Service. By the way, I need to give a huge shout out. Barclay's team is just so extraordinary. Really, I just hope everybody understands how amazing this staff is at Mammoth Cave National Park. It just is so, it is just so heartwarming and inspiring to see the work that they have done, and it's because of their generosity of spirit that we're able to do that kickoff to this incredible journey that we're going to be on together. So thank you, everybody, and that's it, right? Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, if anybody has any questions. Good. You have all the details. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great.